You make it past security, bags on the belt, boarding pass in hand, and then comes the agent holding your suitcase like it's a crime scene. Inside, not a weapon, not a battery, just a can of cooking spray, or a bottle of glue, or that curling iron you've used for years. Confused? Most people are. Because while 2025 brought a wave of new TSA bans, the truth is, some of the strictest rules have been in place for years. Quietly, silently. Catching travelers off guard, one harmless item at a time. In this part of the video, we're digging into the everyday things you didn't know were banned and the surprisingly big consequences they can trigger when packed wrong. It sounds harmless. You toss your power bank in your checked bag, zip it up, and forget about it. After all, it's just a battery, right? Wrong. On January 28, 2025, a fire broke out mid-flight on Air Busan 391. Why? A damaged power bank tucked inside an overhead bin near row 28. It overheated, caught fire, and forced cabin crew to jump into emergency mode. 7 passengers were injured. The plane was lucky to land safely. That incident happened in the cabin, where people noticed the smoke, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and acted fast. Now imagine the same battery catching fire deep in the cargo hold. No one sees it, no one stops it, and that's exactly why TSA bans lithium-ion power banks from all checked luggage. If it's got a lithium battery inside and it's not installed in a device, it has to stay in your carry-on. Most airlines allow up to 100 watt-hours or 160 if approved. The terminals need to be covered, and loose batteries should be packed in a protective case. Still thinking about slipping it into your checked bag anyway? Don't. TSA scans for these. They can pull your bag, delay your flight, and in some cases, issue a civil fine up to $1,500. You don't want to be the reason a flight gets grounded before it even leaves the tarmac, do you? Vape pens are small, easy to pack, easy to forget about, until TSA finds one glowing in your checked bag, and suddenly you're in for a very different kind of smoke break. Just like power banks, vapes contain lithium-ion batteries, and some models also carry flammable liquid. Put that combo in a pressurized cargo hold, that's a risk no airline is willing to take anymore. TSA's made it crystal clear. All vape devices, pens, mods, e-cigarettes must be packed in your carry-on. Not your check bag, not tucked in your shoe. In your carry-on, powered off and ready to be inspected. And don't even think about using it mid-flight. One woman on a recent Alaska Airlines flight from Los Angeles to Cancun decided to sneak a vape hit in the lav because she was stressed. Bad move. The smoke alarm went off. The pilot got on the speaker and told the entire cabin that vaping is a federal offense, and if it happened again, he'd turn the plane around. That's not an empty threat. It's a documented safety violation, and flight attendants are trained to report it in real time. You might not get arrested, but you could get fined, banned from the airline, or flagged in the system the next time you fly. Even the vape liquid has rules. Under 3.4 oz, 100 millimeters, packed in a clear plastic bag, same as any other liquid. So if you vape, treat it like a live wire. Carry it properly, don't use it on board, and maybe grab a nicotine patch instead, because no one wants to be the reason a pilot threatens to reroute a flight. They seem harmless. A can of hairspray, some deodorant, maybe even that trusty cooking spray you always travel with for Airbnb brunches. But at 35,000 feet, pressurized aerosols are one of TSA's biggest red flags. Let's get one thing straight. Not all sprays are treated the same. The rules depend on what's inside and where it's packed. If it's personal care, like hairspray or deodorant under 100 milli, you can bring it in your carry-on, as long as it follows the 311 rule. And yes, a few non-flammable versions might even be allowed in checked bags, but only in small quantities with tight volume limits. But once we move into larger items, like full-size cooking spray, extra hold hair lacquer, or industrial adhesives, the line gets sharp. These are often pressurized with flammable gases like butane or propane. In a pressurized cargo hold, that canister becomes a fire hazard. TSA bans these from checked luggage outright, and if the label isn't clear, expect your bag to get pulled. Then come the no-go items: bug spray, spray paint, industrial glue, and bear spray. These are prohibited in both carry-on and checked baggage. Period. Doesn't matter if it's new, sealed, or for personal protection. TSA and FAA regulations treat them like dangerous goods, and they're not bluffing. Need proof? In 2023, a passenger at Nashville Airport tossed a can of bear spray into a trash bin after realizing it wasn't allowed in their carry-on. A janitor later triggered it by accident, causing a chemical leak and forcing the evacuation of the entire concourse. Firefighters were called. Flights were delayed. TSA launched an investigation, all because of one forgotten can in one wrong place. So here's the bottom line. If it sprays under pressure, double-check the label. If it's flammable, oversized, or industrial grade, it doesn't belong in your bag. You might think it's just a travel-size can, but in the air, TSA sees it for what it really is, a pressurized risk in a flying metal tube. Bringing a firearm on a plane isn't illegal, but doing it wrong? That's how your flight turns into a full-blown security event. In January 2023, TSA agents at San Antonio International Airport opened a checked bag and found something they definitely weren't expecting: an 84mm Carl Gustaf M4 recoilless rifle. The owner said it was deactivated and headed for display at the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, but he hadn't declared it. Worse, ammunition was packed alongside it. Even though the weapon couldn't fire, it still counted as a firearm, and TSA doesn't play guessing games with undeclared weapons or unapproved ammo. The passenger wasn't arrested, but his flight plans were scrapped, and his gear wasn't going anywhere. This wasn't about intent, it was about compliance. TSA allows firearms in checked baggage if you follow the rules. The gun must be unloaded, locked in a hard case, and declared at check-in. Ammunition has its own rules. No loose rounds, no black powder or primers, and absolutely nothing over .75 caliber. Max 11 pounds per passenger in a secure ammo box. Even if your firearm is a replica or part of a display, it still needs to be treated like the real thing under federal guidelines. So if you're flying with a gun, don't wing it. Call your airline at least 48 hours in advance. Know their policy, not just TSA's. Bring your permits, use a TSA-compliant lock, and build in extra time, because you're not just checking a bag, you're checking a conversation. December 15, 2024, TSA agents at LAX open a carry-on and find 82 fireworks, 2 fake guns, 3 knives, and a can of pepper spray. Within minutes, the bomb squad is called. Part of the terminal is shut down. The passenger? Detained. The flight? Delayed. And yes, she said it was all for a party. TSA doesn't care if it's for a birthday, a holiday, or a camping trip. If it explodes, ignites, or burns, it's banned. That includes sparklers, firecrackers, flares, smoke bombs, even if they're sealed, store-bought, or gift-wrapped. Bringing fireworks in checked luggage can get you fined up to $2,570. And in some cases, criminal charges. At best, you miss your flight. At worst, you get flagged in TSA's system for future screening. So don't pack fireworks. Celebrate at your destination, not at the security checkpoint. Beyond fireworks and aerosols, there's another category that often gets overlooked: glues, resins, and hobby solvents. These aren't under pressure like spray cans, but many of them are just as dangerous. Rubber cement, model glue, and certain resin hardeners often contain highly flammable chemicals like acetone or toluene. It only takes a small leak and a bit of heat for vapors to build and turn your suitcase into a chemical hazard. The FAA classifies most of these as hazardous materials, and TSA bans them from both carry-on and checked bags. Even sealed bottles can be confiscated, and depending on the contents, you could be fined anywhere from a few hundred to nearly $14,000. So if it smells like a garage, burns like nail polish remover, or has a warning label you can't pronounce, don't fly with it. Ship it, replace it, or leave it behind. Because just a craft project stops sounding harmless the second TSA opens your bag in a sealed metal room. Picture this: a single glass bottle cracks mid-flight, leaks into the suitcase next to it. The fumes build up in a sealed metal cargo hold until something sparks. Now you've got a floating fireball under 200 people. That's not a movie plot. That's why TSA bans any alcohol over 70% ABV, also known as 140 proof, from both carry-on and checked bags. Doesn't matter how rare, expensive, or securely packed it is. If it's that flammable, it's staying on the ground, and even alcohol under that limit comes with rules. It must be sealed under 5 liters per passenger and under 70% ABV. Otherwise, it's considered a hazardous material, just like lighter fluid or industrial solvent. One traveler at O'Hare tried to check a bottle of 80% home-distilled liquor. It was packed tight in clothing, taped shut, but TSA still flagged it, confiscated it, and held the bag for extra screening. The traveler missed their connection, and the bottle never made it past Chicago. So no, your cousin's homemade moonshine isn't a charming souvenir. It's a combustible hazard. If you're bringing liquor back, do it smart. Buy it after security. Keep it sealed, and know the rules at both ends of your flight. Because when TSA says no flammable liquids, they mean it, and they've got the fire codes to prove it. You pack some fresh fruit or dried meat in your checked bag. It's sealed, it's clean. Maybe it's even a gift from family overseas. But when your bag lands in the US, customs might see it very differently. In early 2025, a traveler flying home from Southeast Asia got stopped at JFK. Inside his bag, a banana he forgot he picked up during a layover. He didn't declare it, so customs flagged him, scanned his passport, and warned him of a $500 fine. And that was just for a single piece of fruit in his carry-on. One banana. $500. Probably the most expensive snack on earth. Now imagine what happens when it's a bag of fresh mangoes, raw sausages, or herbs packed in your checked luggage. US Customs and USDA take undeclared food seriously, especially when it's fresh, raw, or unprocessed. These items can carry bacteria, parasites, or crop-killing pests. And while TSA may let your bag fly, Customs has the final say when it lands. If you bring in undeclared agricultural goods, you can be fined up to $1,000, even on a first offense. You may also be detained, questioned, and flagged in the system for future trips. So don't assume it's just food. If it's fresh and coming from overseas, either declare it or don't pack it at all. And declaring is simple. Just check yes under food items on your customs form or tell the officer directly. It's better to be safe than sorry over a snack. The 2025 list might have shocked travelers, but TSA's been cracking down on risky items long before this year's updates. In fact, there are plenty of things that have been banned for years but still manage to surprise even the most seasoned flyers. They seem harmless. They're often everyday tools or household products. But once they go into the cargo hold, pressurized at 35,000 feet with no one around to intervene, they become a real threat. And TSA doesn't take chances. Take compressed gas cylinders, for example. Whether it's a scuba tank, a paintball CO2 cartridge, or a bottle of medical oxygen, if it's under pressure, it's not getting on the plane. The only exception is a portable oxygen concentrator that meets FAA standards, and even then, you have to contact the airline ahead of time. Then there's flammable glue, a silent offender hiding in modeling kits and tool bags. It doesn't look dangerous, but many types like rubber cement, model glue, or industrial adhesives contain highly volatile solvents like acetone or toluene. These chemicals have flash points below 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and under FAA and TSA regulations, that's enough to get them banned outright. Even if the bottle is sealed, the risk is real. In a pressurized cargo hold, those solvents can leak, ignite, or release toxic fumes. TSA classifies these products as hazardous materials, and if they find them in your bag, they won't just confiscate the item. Depending on the amount and how it's packed, they can issue civil penalties ranging from a few hundred to over $13,000. So if you're packing adhesives, double-check the label. If it says flammable, don't bring it. Use non-flammable alternatives, or better yet, ship your supplies ahead. And then, ironically, there's the fire extinguisher. These might seem like the ultimate safety device, but they're not flight safe. Most extinguishers contain pressurized gas or reactive chemicals, both of which can become dangerous under changing cabin pressure. TSA bans them entirely, whether they're full or empty, used or brand new. Even kitchen and household sprays like cooking spray, starch, and aerosol bug repellents can pose a problem. Many of them use flammable propellants like butane or propane, and once those are packed into a checked bag, they become a pressurized hazard. TSA only allows certain small aerosol products in carry-ons if they're under 3.4 aughts and clearly labeled. Anything else is likely to get flagged. Beauty tools can also be trouble. Curling irons that use butane cartridges are not allowed in checked baggage, and even spare cartridges are banned entirely. TSA does allow battery-powered or corded versions, but anything that uses gas for heat is a no-go. And finally, there are EPIRBs, those small emergency transmitters used in sailing, hiking, or backcountry travel. These devices can send out strong distress signals, and if one accidentally activates in the cargo hold, it can trigger a full-blown emergency response. TSA generally bans them from checked luggage, and even when carried on board, they must be powered off, labeled, and pre-approved by the airline. So now you know, power banks, cooking spray, fireworks, even that mango from your aunt's backyard. If it can spark, leak, rot, or explode, TSA doesn't want it in your checked bag. These aren't just minor rules, they're safety measures that could save lives, flights, and your travel record. So before your suitcase ends up on a TSA inspection table, or worse, a viral TikTok, double-check what you're packing. Or better yet, when in doubt, leave it out. And now it's your turn. If you've ever been stopped by security over something totally innocent, or thought you were, drop it in the comments. You might just help someone else avoid the same mistake. Remember, what you don't declare can cost you, sometimes in dollars, sometimes in missed flights. So keep it simple. If you're not sure, don't pack it. That one rule can save you a whole lot of trouble.